Mike from RunPhys.com. Thank you for watching today's video on the topic of how to increase your mileage safely and successfully so you can build up for your next marathon, return from injury, or get back into running after you've been away from it for a long time. Now, before we dive into the content of today's video, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the blog if you have not already. That way you don't miss any of these videos. They can get emailed directly to you, and you don't have to remember to visit the site periodically. Also, check out the Facebook page where we do weekly live videos, as well as an opportunity to interact with me directly to get questions answered or to get feedback from you on what topics you would like to see covered in these videos, or again during the live videos that we do on the Facebook page. Also, share this with a friend. If you have a friend who's a runner that would find this kind of content helpful, please feel free to share that with them. I really appreciate it. Now, the topic of building up your mileage, quite often people say the 10% rule is the way to go. And by that meaning, the amount of mileage that you run every week, don't increase it by more than 10%. And the reason for that is there's several of them. The most important one is not a cardiovascular reason, but more has to do with the integrity and the capacity of your soft tissues and of your bones. Every time your foot hits the ground, every time there's an impact, that impact has to get absorbed somewhere. And your muscles absorb some of that impact, but a lot of it also goes to your joint capsules, as well as your ligaments and your tendons. And those tissues are passive tissues. Physiologically, they're like really, really taut rubber bands. And those bands are able to absorb impact, but over time, over the number of impacts that you place on it, that tissue will, in a sense, fatigue, but what will happen is it loses its ability to rebound and go back to normal. And those tissues will adapt as you use them, but they'll only adapt to a certain amount. They need a healthy amount of stress and then time to recover. Healthy amount of stress and then time to recover. If we stress them too much, then we get tissue damage, and then the recovery is much more messy. But if we stress them just enough so that the tissues can note what kind of stresses they need to prepare for, and do it just enough that they can easily rebuild and reform and adapt, then you can do it very successfully. Now, this is very important when considering how to avoid things like stress fractures and tendinitis, plantar fasciitis, all kinds of muscular and joint issues. This concept is very, very important. And so the single best thing you can do when you are, again, returning from injury or building up your mileage is to do it very slow, very methodically. I think the 10% rule is really a pretty good rule. There's exceptions, there's a little bit of give and take, but as a whole I think that's a good rule for the purpose of allowing the tissues of your body to adapt to the loading that you're placing on it. There's physiological processes there that can't be rushed, and so you have to give them adequate input in the form of a healthy amount of stress, and then also give them plenty of time to recover. Now, some things that you can do proactively to help get your body ready to build up your mileage is you can work on your strength, the strength of your calves, your quads, your glutes. And in those ways, that can help your muscles do their part to absorb that load and take stress off of the ligaments, the tendons, the joints, etc. So I'll show you a few exercises that you can do as part of your building up your mileage to help build up the strength that you need to help return to running in a more successful way. So I'll show you those here in a moment. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, check out the blog, check out the Facebook page, share this with a friend, and run fast, friends.